So Joe Freshgoods has blessed us with another good New Balance collaboration. What is up, everybody? My name is Danny. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching or viewing. And in today's video, we are going to cover one of the three colorways from the new collaboration Joe Freshgoods has with New Balance. Now, I personally didn't go for these. My buddy right here, he lent these to me so I could do this review. Don't get me wrong, they were really high on my list. I'm just really being selective with what I buy these days. And I have my reasons why I didn't go for these, but seeing them in person, they are beautiful. So in today's video, we are going to cover that kind of sage green colorway of the Joe Freshgoods 993. These beautiful things right here. And let's get straight into this review. Now, subjectively, the shoes are really nice. I love the shade of green that he uses on these. Made in the US, 993s are usually the best. And if I'm honest, we haven't seen a good pair of 993s since ALD did theirs last year, I think it was. The beef and broccolis and then the taupe burgundy joints, those were really, really nice as well. I ended up getting rid of my burgundy pair, or the beef and broccolis of those, because I didn't think I could rock them, but I don't know. I was making moves. So, taking a quick look at the box before we get into the shoes, we have made in the US for over 75 years. Shout out to New Balance. And I always love that he kind of gets his name on every single box. I like collabs that pay a little more attention to like the little details, like maybe if it's add-ons, like what Concepts did with all of its Air Max 1s, if it's what Joe does with his boxes, because right here we have Joe Freshgoods NB New Balance. Right here we have it in French as well. No, yeah, I think that's French. Cool. The Made in America flag right there. Nothing else too crazy. And something I'm noticing on these shoes off the rip is that the actual 993 right here actually has an American flag on it now. I think that's cool. Made in the USA. Usually the toppest of quality you can get from New Balance is either made in the US or made in England. But that's not to say the pairs that are like made in Vietnam, like the Salehi Bembury joints, those are also pretty up there in terms of quality. So here we are, 993 Joe Freshgoods right here on the back tab. Also American flag detail. I don't know if that's common in the 993 models and the Made in America models, or if it's just something Joe did on these. I can honestly say I just don't remember that being a detail. And I don't have any 993s in the inventory right now to actually compare them to. You have Joe Freshgoods on the other one too, so it's not like NB on one and then Joe Freshgoods. It's Joe Freshgoods stamped right on the back. So taking a look at the shoe, we do have a pretty nice hairy suede right here. It's like a really thin hair. We have the 993 marking. This color is beautiful. I'm gonna try to color match it the best I can, but I absolutely love these colors. Something really prominent on both 990s. I think the 900 models in general is you have these like accent details that are always, usually at least, a different shade. It's not a perfect match to the rest of like the sage green. It's a really nice nubuck material. You get it right here and you get a hint of it here. That sage nubuck is prominent everywhere, but I kind of like how you can see the difference in tones right here. Really nice. And then this like really almost like pinkish aged sole right here with a hint of, this almost looks like a cherry blossom pink to me. I know some people have said it was like a salmon, but I don't really see a salmon. I think this is closer to like that salmon. You have a little splash of like mint green on this eye stay right here. I think they're really nice. I think the gray mesh also really complements the shoe. I think the gray mesh is what all three shoes have in common. I got to double check that because I don't have any other pairs in front of me. But we have three pairs in total. So we have this sage, whatever you really want to call this, cerulean. We have that blue pair as well. And then we have a pink pair, a pure pink pair. Now, I really want to get into the tech of the 993, but I feel like it's a good point to put out now that I'm talking about like colors and stuff like that. So the reason I really didn't go for these as a personal, even though I like the 993 model, I like these colors, is because it really reminds me of what Feig was doing with Asics back in the day, especially with this pack in general. So if you're an old Asics head or just into runners in the early 2010s, We know Feig did his Coves, he did his Mints in Gillette 3s. Some of like most iconic sneakers he's done, especially if you've been rocking with him for a while. So back when I was collecting, I had rose golds. That was this pair of Ronnie Feigs. I owned Mints and Coves in Gillette 5s, and I ran into this big issue where I just didn't really wear them. I didn't really style them. They're a really loud shoe. Now, when it comes to what Joe's doing with these, is yeah, they're a lot more muted. It's a lot more like a pastel color, kind of what we saw in his 9060s with his penny cookies and his other pair. I feel like he really does it well grabbing these pastels and he goes matching. But I still run into that issue where they're really bright shoes, and I don't know if I would give them the love they need. That's why I kind of held off on these, and I'm regretting it just a little bit, because I'm like, especially seeing this now in person, I'm like, I would have loved to at least tried to add it to the collection, worn it around. My fiance really wanted a pair of these. Unfortunately, I'm still looking for a size 5 or 4.5 for her, but I wouldn't mind getting a pair of these or the blue ones in my size. Now, this is Joe's performance art series, so I'm gonna hold this up so you can get a good read on it. And this isn't the first pair of like 990 New Balances that he's really touched. He does have a pair of, I think it's outside clothes, where it's a pair of 990 V3s. If you don't know, New Balance really does this thing where you have 990s, which is probably one of their most original models, and then like it just goes up from there, and it gets really confusing, especially if you're not really too into New Balances, where it's like 990 V1 is completely different from like a 991. The things that change the most, or like adapts the most, are featured tech on the shoe. So this 993, actually, let me compare these to like a pair of 990 V3s. Maybe that can help. So here we have a pair of 993s. Here we have a pair of the Bodega 990s. This is a V3. You see how the shape in the sole kind of changes with a little bit of a little bit of differences. Right here in the 993, we have absorbed DTS, but it does have the endurance sole. This also has the endurance sole, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think all of them have endurance soles, but this one has end cap technology, which is just a different cushion system for your foot. This has absorb, which is a little softer to the touch, a little like more resistant when you push it down. And if we move up just a slight bit up, we have this is the Emini Leondora 991s. These released this year. These have an endurance sole as well, but absorb tech on the sole because it's marked, so it's a little more cushiony right here, especially in this like gray areas. But it does have like a stiffness. It does have this like rubber piece for stability. These are probably like one of my favorite shoes to just wear and own. I really like these. These traditionally you see them more made in England. This being an Emini Leondora, it was made in England. Nubuck leather on these is crazy, but it doesn't take away of like how cool 993s can be. I just personally think the 993s are a little bit wider of a shoe. All New Balances, in my opinion, are very wide foot friendly, so it's Danny approved. So now that we went over tech just a little bit, I know in the 991 I mentioned it had that kind of heel cap. This has a New Balance logo right here with that same type of technology. You're gonna see that in the 900 models and the 990 models. You won't see too much of like a differentiation. One thing I liked on these is lace choice. So I really like how the lace kind of matches this almost like yellowish, salmon pink-ish hue right here. It's like a really warm hue, but it really goes well with the green, in my opinion. You do have hints of white on the New Balance made in the US and the N logo on the tongue. Inside is green as well. It matches closer to this right here. I thought this part was gonna be like 3M. I think only this little ribbon right here is. This is Nubuck just like this. It's just not perforated. The N is plastic. Nothing too crazy. You do get a bit of glue stains right here. You know, they're made by people, so like there's gonna be flaws. It's inevitable. So I do think the other lace choice in these is kind of in the same boat. Not that bad. If I can find them, I think they're actually in the box. Yeah, so the other lace choice is this like sage green as well. It's almost a perfect, yeah, I think it's actually a pretty good match. I personally think it goes closer to this end right here. You let me know, but more than the suede. Technically they could be the same colors, just appears different due to materials. Like this has a glossier finish, so it just doesn't look like the same material as this. Whereas like we know this is a nubuck and this is a suede, and they're meant to be two different colors. There's that as well, or like how this is closer to a mint, it's meant to be lighter than like the rest of the shoe. I don't know. Those are little details and caveats that like they're cool. They're cool to notice if you notice. So there's gonna be no on feet for this video because these just aren't my size. If they were my size, I would definitely throw them on, try to throw them on a fit. I don't know, it's just New Balances look really good with pants. Florida is very hot. Those are two things that just don't add up. So I feel like my New Balances don't get a lot of love unless they're like a pair of 550s that have kind of like a dunk-esque shape where you can wear them with shorts. Putting these away, performance art on the lid as well. Sorry if I rambled, I have a tendency to do so. And that's gonna be my review. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for checking out. Thank you guys for sticking through. If you stuck through this, pause to you. Sometimes I don't even stick through like my edits. I'm definitely gonna see you guys on the next one. We have a stacked November. It's your boy's birthday, so I'm gonna assume I have birthday luck with all the upcoming releases. Even though I've already missed a couple, but let's not talk about that. All right, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Be easy, be cheesy, and hope to see you in the next video. Peace.